Marco.
Just in time.
Yepper.
Yes, we are live on a Tuesday night for Triple T number 218. Talk time with TJ on 03/03/26, March 3rd, 26. Thank you all for joining. Is it just me, or did daylight savings crime already happen? I'm not sure. I had three clients rescheduled today.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
unusual.
it is unusual. And we've got an apparent major storm heading for Tejas. We're talking about
Tejas?
Tejas, yes.
I've never heard it called Tejas.
And yeah, they're talking 3 to 7 days of all sorts of bad stuff. So I think everybody's hunkering down. Anyhow, let's get into it. My name is TJ Zebel. I like to call myself a professional problem solver, which I always follow up with, no, I don't know everything. I just have a unique way of asking questions, helping people to find the solutions to the challenges that they are up against. And for those of you out in YouTube land, I had to take a little wait time because last time Mom got on after I got a chance to say, "Hi, Mom," up in chilly Minnesota. So, if you are watching on YouTube or watching the recording, do me a favor, do all the free YouTube stuff that doesn't cost you anything. Click the subscribe button, and yeah, look, there's Snacks joining us too with Duncan out in San Diego. Right on. Anyhow, if you'd click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when we're back on the air, and leave some comments, do some likes, click some likes. I'd like to know what you guys like and possibly what you don't like. Let's see what else. I do have a website that you can go check out, www.thetSWB.com, the tall skinny white boy, and that is me, and he is I, and I am him. Have been since way before the internet, so anything else you find for TSWB is not me, I guarantee. Looking for the real tall skinny white boy. And on there, you're going to find all sorts of stuff that I get to do. I have the privilege of helping people with depression, anxiety, phobias, grief, PTSD, a lot of relationship stuff yet. So if you got somebody that maybe found their special somebody for Singles Awareness Day, aka Valentine's Day, and found out it didn't work out quite the way they had hoped, have them get a hold of me. I would love to help them out and help them find their person because there is a match out there for them. I also offer a free 30-minute consultation. That's right, 30 minutes of my time at no charge to you. Chance for us to chit chat and see what kind of challenges you're up against, and if I feel that there's a way that I can help you out, I'll let you know. And also, I promise that if I feel that we are not a match, I will let you know. I don't want to waste your time or money. And I will do my best to help you find the right person to get the change work that you are looking for. And I guess now it's time to introduce the tie of the week. I've been doing this since the first episode in 24. We actually started in 23, if you can believe that, 217 episodes before this. But been wearing a different tie every week. And this one, kind of a power tie, but those that know the inside joke about it know what this tie is. And if you don't, you can message me in private. I'll share it with you. Anyhow, that's that. Glad you guys could show up. who's got something cool to share from the last 7 days since we were here sharing information? Anybody? Yes, Lenora.
I had mentioned to you all that I had been raising a puppy since Christmas time, and it has been quite the experience. And oh my God, do I have insights between humans and dogs? And a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned to you all that ended up doing some boarding and training, which was absolutely hands down one of the best investments I have made in my marriage so far. So I think in my top 3 best investments in marriage, getting this dog trained is one of them. And
What kind of a puppy is
oh,
this?
she's cute. She's a Belgian Malinois.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
And she um, loves to do so many things. And the whole point is there were so many things I did not know, and so many things that I thought I was doing right and definitely was not doing right. And God bless dog trainers. They make my life better.
Mhm.
And she came back on Friday, so things are going much better. And then she goes for another Rockstar round next week. And I get to see you all as I am traveling to traveling next week. But most importantly, I'm also traveling to a Buc-ee's. So all that to say, if you're struggling with something and you think that YouTube and Reels would definitely be able to help, I highly recommend reaching out to professionals. And I cannot vouch enough for the people that come to this call that are fantastic at what they do. And if they aren't able to help you, they will absolutely guide you to the direction that they think would be even more helpful, because we all know what it's like to struggle, and we desperately do not want to see people struggle. So that's just a little bit about that, and I'm sure I will be chatting a bit more in an hour or two.
Well, I'm glad you shared that because I may need you to help me out for a little bit. I just realized that I forgot the gate open and my puppies, are doing a little walkabout in the front yard. And I'm the only one here.
All right.
So if you folks could keep yourself entertained for just a second, I will be back
Okay,
as quickly
go
as
for it.
possible.
Go get bow and arrow.
Yes.
So hi everyone. Anybody else have any awesome things that they want to share from last week? Anybody? I know Duncan is over there, and I was messaging a few of our friends. Nothing else? No? All right. Mark, I did see you get to pop on the call oh so quickly. You looked like you were coming from work, so I hope you had a fantastic day. And Nancy, it's so good to see you. I hope all is well. Topics. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the topic that there she is. Hi, beauty. I'm gonna go with the topic that I wanted to share with all of you, which is asking for help. This is something that is very near and dear to my heart because I absolutely struggled for quite a while. And I thought that going on YouTube and reading books was going to be able to solve my problem. And years ago, I know a lot of you already know this, and I'll just share it for the people that are on YouTube or on the recording that don't know this. I struggled with an eating disorder, and I struggled with emotional eating, and I did not know what I did not know, and I kept doing research. And I couldn't figure out how I would keep finding myself in the same pattern. And I think that's a go-to phrase that I really default to is you don't know what you don't know. And for the longest time, I felt really stupid in asking questions because I should figure this out. I should already know. And that's something that definitely held me back. That being said, you all know now that I am full of questions. Hi, Mr. V. It's great to have you pop on. Now I'm full of questions. And one thing that I have learned about myself is that I am very coachable. And in doing the entire situation with my puppy, I knew from the beginning that I had wanted a trainer. And did we find all the dogs? Are they all
Yes.
accounted for?
Thank you.
Um,
Yes.
if you want, you can take over and I will put a pin in that and we
Well, go
can.
ahead, finish.
um, so I knew I had wanted a trainer here and I knew I had wanted somebody here very routinely. And so even in the routineness of the trainer coming, there were still so many things I didn't know that I was doing not as well as I could be. And now in hindsight, especially when it comes to small things. So in this case, you're thinking like, oh, puppy, it's so cute. It doesn't know. And the breed that I have is very intelligent and she learns very quickly. And that being said, they learn things very quickly, which is great. And at the same time, if you're not teaching them consistently, they learn things in the incorrect way. And so, for example, I used to say, okay, let's go find our crate. And I would have her follow me all the way down to the bedroom where the crate was. Now, one day she decided instead of following me, now she was not on a leash, or she was on a leash, I didn't have it. It was trailing behind her. One day she decided to go, she hooked left and she went into the living room in my house. And she learned immediately that she had the freedom to go and that I would then chase after her. So this had built the pattern of her now hooking out no matter what I did, even when I would walk the leash. So all this to translate to, once the trainer ended up doing a board and train, she doesn't hook left anymore because he effectively helped her understand who's in charge. And also adding to that, there were a variety of tools. And so I don't know how other people train their dogs and whatever the case is and whatever your opinion is on it. In this case, she's been very oppositional and very defiant. So we ended up using a prong collar. I cannot express to you how effective this has been, and not in the, oh, we're hurting her. It's now, oh, she understands. Now she gets it. Now she understands that everything she does doesn't result in biting me within 10 seconds. She gets it now. So now we're literally able to sit with her and pet her and spend time with her and not get bitten. Okay, so I have lots of scars to do this. However, you get the outcome that you want in your life, whether it is to lose weight, whether it is to have the confidence to speak on stage, whether it is to raise your children in a way that feels authentic, whether it is to become even better of a mechanic or even better of a therapist, however you get to the outcome that you want. I am a very firm believer in no matter what approach, somebody will always have an opinion that's different. And it doesn't matter what works best for you. People will constantly add their insights. They will constantly add their opinions. Even when you don't ask for them, they will constantly add them. The bottom line is, were you able to get to the outcome that you wanted without having to worry about, sorry, somebody's literally calling me through my computer. Without having to worry about other people's opinions. And this also goes into another topic that could be for hour two, which goes into how I've noticed in this process my own pattern of shaming myself, my own pattern of putting myself down. And truly it's come to when they say, you know, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. I couldn't figure out like, what is all this showing me other than that I'm a terrible dog trainer? And it wasn't that. Could be an opinion, or it could be, hey, there's a lot of patterns within yourself that you have no idea. You think you're doing the right thing, but it actually could be more effective if you stopped and you asked questions and also let somebody guide you. So I jokingly say, like, the dog trainer is currently our pack leader. So there's my husband, myself, and our puppy, and we put our trainer in charge because I was a terrible trainer and my husband was also definitely not getting the job done. Notice what you want in your life, whatever it might be for yourself. Are you getting the result that you want? And if not, it's okay. You're not stupid. You're not missing anything. You're not broken. You're none of these awful things. It's simply you don't know what you don't know.
100%. And that's so in line with a story that a buddy of mine told, who he's amazingly good at basketball. Actually went to college on a basketball degree and almost went semi-pro and all the above. And he said he didn't understand at first why his coach couldn't stand going to the park because they had a basketball court there. And his coach said, because I don't know who to correct, but I know that if they come to me, I'm going to have to correct them when I see Dad playing basketball with the kids, and the kids are learning the worst form ever. They're out there and they're dribbling and they're doing everything so wrong. And the coach was like, now, what percentage of these kids are even going to go out for basketball in school? So do you correct them all? Or do you wait until they show up and they really want to play basketball and you go, okay, so all I got to do is erase everything you've ever learned and you have to start over. Even as a firearms instructor, when I first started learning, I learned back in the day, and my form is made fun of because I'm using what is called a very old Weaver stance, and they don't do that now for great reasons. The problem is, for me, muscle memory, and the only redeeming quality that I have out of it is I can still hit the bullseye. But as a trainer, now I have to say, don't do what I do what I tell you. And so it can be quite challenging. Luckily, like for you, Lenora, you guys are first-time dog owners?
Yes.
And so you decided to learn how to drive in a Ferrari.
Without a wheel.
Having never driven before.
Doesn't have a wheel.
Yes, but you did it the right way. You went out and you invested the money, because those dogs are, when they are properly trained, just like a Ferrari. When you get a good driver in a Ferrari, oh my, they're fun. You get a bad driver in a Ferrari, oh, it's painful.
Yeah. Definitely. And we didn't want to give her habits that weren't going to be helpful. So I totally agree with it. And I hope people see also, if you go to reach out to somebody and you don't like how they operate, if you don't like them as a driver, if you don't like them as a teacher, as a coach, as a whatever, that's okay.
Yes.
You can go out and look for another. We looked at like 6 or 7 different trainers to figure out which one worked best for us. Mm-hmm. Keep looking. And I actually said this to somebody who's on the call who I got to meet in Chicago. if somebody doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. We're not for everybody and they're not for everybody. Allow yourself, if you kind of just can't connect with it, it's okay. You are allowed to shift. You are allowed to look for something else or someone else that resonates more with you.
That's exactly why in my introduction with my free 30-minute consult, that's the main reason for the consultation, to find out, are we a fit? I'm not a fit for everybody. I will openly state that. And I have also turned down a number of clients because I knew I wasn't a fit. And of course, they're like, wait, what? You're not going to work with me? I'm not going to waste our time and your money. I'm not doing this just for the money.
Yeah.
If that were the case, I would take on everybody, and when they weren't getting the results, I would find a way to, well, it's because this or that and the other, and thanks for the money and have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find trainers of all sorts that will do that. So when you're looking for change work, if you're looking to learn something, if you're looking for anything like that, be picky. It's okay. It's your time. It's your money. Anybody that's been on Triple T or around me long enough, how many times have you heard me say, time is the one thing that I can't give back to you. It's the one thing that we cannot get back. Invest it the best possible way. Money can always be remade. Trust me, I've lost quite a bit of it. Some to my own fault and some to life. And so, yes, time and great teachers, mentors, instructors, good things to find. I think we all can say we've got that one teacher that we remember, that one mentor, that one teacher, that one instructor that stood out above the rest, where you're just like, oh yeah, they were great. And look at that, 6:24, and
And you didn't even share a topic yet.
I haven't even gotten into the topics yet. And everybody's like, did we freeze? No. For those of you that are watching the live or the recording, the one disadvantage that you have is you don't get to see the comments. And Guillermo shared with us that here's the phrase of, it's in your hands to change the world, or the correct way will be, change the world, be the change the world starts in your head. Yes. But you still have to have the knowledge or the insight. One of the great things that I heard was a true sign of intelligence is the ability to change your mind about what you know. The ability to hear something that goes against what you've always said or what you've always believed and go, wow, that's different. I think that's better, and go with that. That's a true sign of intelligence. And when I've been teaching people, I always tell them, I'm not saying my way is the best. I teach it because it's the best I have found so far. If you can think of a better way or a different way, please let me know. Because as soon as I find another better way, I will teach it that way instead. And I ask the same of everybody else, all my students. If you find a better way of what I'm teaching, please come back and teach me. And I mean that. Why not? Life is short. Play it to the best of your ability. And now we've got 34 minutes to fit in 3 topics. And I'll taking quite a while for me to get to the point
You
of,
can share them, yeah.
hey, if you're here for the first time and you're wondering how this show works, it normally doesn't start like this. This is just one of those fun roll with it type nights. But it's a 2-hour show. And the first hour, I do my best to try and get through 3 topics that I picked through the week. And then at the end of the first hour, we shift gears. It's open mic, open platform. And I let anybody on the call bring up a topic or ask questions, and I let everybody on the call answer first because I like to learn as well. So without any further ado, we're going to have to get into these topics if I'm going to be able to get through 3 of them. Tonight's topics for episode 218 on March 3rd is least interest, second verse, and plan. Least interest, and this one comes out of business and relationships, which a lot of it kind of correlates anyway together. And sadly, when it comes to relationships, where least interest shows up is the question, who has the most power in a relationship? And the answer is the one with the least amount of interest. Which sounds terrible, but it's true enough to be true to be true. You'll see I see it all the time with the couples that I've worked with, or the people who have just gone through a breakup, or the people that reach out to me because they're in a relationship, but it's not going the way they had hoped. And nearly 99 point something percent of the time, it's the person with the least amount of interest that is running the show, because they're not afraid to walk away. And so the person who is fearful of that is the one that is willing to change their thinking, to do things that they'll let the other person run the show. And that gets pretty sad sometimes when you see some of the stuff, because especially when you're dealing with narcissists or Machiavellian or any of those types, some of them figure it out very early on, and it becomes a very strong manipulating source. And they know that they have the power to wield it quite unfairly. Well, how do you deal with that? I mean, do I have to walk away? Do I have to? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes you have to fight the fire with the fire. And sometimes you have to get the proper evaluation of, why is it that they care less than I do? And do they care so much less than I do that it's not worth the fight? And because of our tendencies towards fear of loss, many people will put up with way more than they should. Well, I don't want to be I don't want to be alone. You already are. You're just alone with a different body. And you're trying to hang on to dust. And what are you getting out of it? And a lot of times what I have to tell my clients is, how much longer are you going to make the right person wait? While you're sitting here grasping on to whatever might be left of what you have right now. And that brings us to something that I've taught before, and I will openly admit I can teach it quite well because I was very guilty of doing it back in the day. And I labeled it the classic push-pull. And your classic push-pull people, if you could picture a bullseye, 5 rings, and the bullseye is perfect relationship, marriage, all the above, and 3 is that neutral ring. 5 is I'm out of here, peace out, goodbye. And with a classic push-pull, you'll see that they want to keep you hovering in ring 3, far enough away for comfort, close enough to say you're still theirs. But if you try to get into ring 2 or ring 1, whoa, hey, I think we're getting a little serious now. You know, maybe we just need a little time, a little break, a little something. But if they see you entering ring 4 or ring 5, oh, babe, hey, I'm sorry, come on, I love you. Let's, we should probably, let's go out for dinner or something. Come on over and let me pour some love bombs on you, and so I can bring you back to ring 3. And who's doing the operating? The person with the least amount of interest. Because if it was the other person, they wouldn't be pulled back and forth from 3 to 5. They would already be out of 5 and deciding what ring they want the other person in. Kind of like a frame war. One wants a bullseye and the other one wants a 3. And I can tell you from experience, even the most dedicated, after a while, get tired of being stuck in ring 3. And they will eventually move on. And so you have to be able to identify it. I've got a couple of clients right now that came to me for my relationship protocol, Triple P, and they've graduated. And you know what they found out? They finally figured out how to love themselves more than anybody else.
Bingo.
And what happened when they learned to love themselves more than anybody else?
They didn't need others to fulfill them.
And they became irresistible to other people. And they got to decide and be picky and look at what's important to them. Lenora.
So I love this topic, and I try to think of certain aspects of it, even in my own relationship or even from past experiences when I was dating somebody. And I think one of the most important things is being able to feel your emotion, as in when you're writing stuff, and allow yourself to write down what you want without guilt and without shame. Allow yourself to write down how you want your relationship to feel. What are you offering? And also, what are you receiving? And even in the wonderful things, because this is life and we're human, also, how do you want to navigate your disagreements? What does that look like? How do you like to be heard in a disagreement, but also how do you want somebody to share with you in a disagreement? If you're used to screaming, or if you're used to having it turn into a screaming match, allow yourself to sit with that and say, is that something I want? Okay, possibly no. And what do I want that disagreement to look like? Because in I can't think of any single relationship that I've ever heard of in my entire life where there wasn't a single disagreement. So period, end of story. But really allow yourself to notice, especially from your past experiences, when you were in a disagreement with somebody, what did that look like? And also not just a disagreement, imagining your day-to-day life when that person isn't in a great mood, and it's okay, how do you feel? And the reason that I bring that up is because for the longest time, I felt personally responsible for somebody else's happiness. As in, if somebody wasn't happy, whether it was my significant other or if you're in other relationships, whatever it was, since we're talking about significant others, we'll stick with this one. If my husband wasn't in a happy mood, if he didn't wake up in a great mood, it was my fault. And it was also my responsibility to get him back to a happy place immediately. That being said, that was the story that I created.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I want that to shift into? And now being able to have that perspective and also wanting to support that significant other, in this case, my husband, to the best of my ability. How do we navigate it? Because he didn't ask me to make everything better by any means. And also, if I had said in a disagreement, which I had said in the past, I feel like I have to make you happy, he's going, no, you don't have to make me happy. I am aware that I am responsible for my own happiness. Having somebody be able to acknowledge that is really, really important. And I know Mark has been married for a number of years too, so you could probably add some insights on this. And I know a number of people have been in relationships on this platform. So even in sharing that, what are some other things that you like to go into your relationships? It's not just about the bliss. It's also about what are you doing on those rainy days?
Absolutely. Great stuff. And the other part that I wanted to throw in here, it's relationships of all types, including work, which is a relationship. Mark.
Yeah, so many things cascading in. To speak to what Lenora said, one of the rules that we had, in fact, during a shower when my wife and I were getting married. I was invited, and somebody attached a little thing to one of the gifts that said "Rules for a Happy Marriage," and one of them was nobody goes to bed angry, and we kind of followed that.
Rule.
That led to a lot of late nights and pots of coffee in the Mr. Coffee, but we talked things through until, we didn't go to bed angry. And another thing popped up with relationships, would you rather be right or would you rather get along? Another great rule. But when you introduced the topic, TJ, I was writing it down, and I didn't put down least, Least. I wrote down Leased. So it's least interest.
Ah,
So, and the thought path was like, okay, you get people that they buy a car, they save up, they put a down payment, and they own the car, and they treat that car like gold. They take it to the car wash all the time. They're shining it. They're making sure that it looks absolutely beautiful. But how do people treat leased cars? And apply that to relationships. People who lease cars, they treat them like crap. They don't invest anything in the ownership, because it's just a lease. I can drive it. I can ignore the maintenance. I can do all the so. In a relationship, whether with your significant other, or or even like I said, if you're only leasing the the relationship, you're not really invested in it, and you're not going to put the effort in if it's just a lease versus So when you said leased, I wrote down Leased. So.
great Freudian slip. Actually, I changed it because I like that even better. And your metaphor is spot on.
Well, that was, like I said, that was the insight I had when you first introduced the topic.
Yeah,
How do you treat a leased car? Well, you treat it, you're not invested completely in its, in its look and its maintenance, and its, you don't treat it with the because you're not really invested in the ownership of the, you treat the car nice, because you want it to last a long time, versus treating it like crap. So that
well,
works for relationships with people too.
right on that subject of cars, I started working in a mechanic shop when I was 11. And for those of you like, oh my gosh, child labor, stop typing. Best thing that ever happened to me at that age in that small town, right, Mom? But the one thing that I've seen over and over and over and over, the parents who want to help their children out and give them a car, and that car gets beat like the proverbial redheaded, I can't go there, I guess now, whatever. But the cars that the kids had to buy on their own, those were the ones that got washed and waxed and vacuumed. And even if it was an old beater, because basically that's all they could afford anyway, but they would take care of it because they were the ones that had to pay for it. If they got a flat tire, Mom and Dad might help them out, but they still ended up, that's your transportation to get to work. And when I started taking care of college houses, when I saw that brand new Beamer or that brand new Mercedes that the kids got for graduating high school so they could go to college, if they stayed at the same college for 2-3 years, tell you what, in 2-3 years, that brand new beautiful machine looked horrid. Wasn't washed, wasn't cleaned, wasn't vacuumed out. because they didn't have anything invested in it. They didn't know what it's worth. They just knew that, well, it better get fixed if it's not running right, and they better do it quick because I got things to do. So yes, least interest. Great twist. Anybody else before I try and fit in two more topics in the last 14 minutes? Guillermo.
Hey TJ,
Hey.
it's interesting that topic because I just finished a relationship of probably 6 years, but unfortunately it was the distance that it was affecting. But the interesting part is that when it came like, okay, so this is it, I just replied, I guess it is. And it's interesting that you say that the person who showed the less emotions, because I didn't say nothing else. I don't want to argue at all. I spent before like 5 years going to therapy and trying to understand what I did wrong with my previous relationship, right? By trying to do it right with this one. And I guess the distance affect a lot. But as you mentioned, it's like, I don't want to argue anymore. I don't want to make any face about this. So I stay quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that because, yes, a number of the relationships that I've helped people with, they get to a point where it's just no longer worth the energy spent trying to explain things or fix things. They shut down and they get quiet. And the other partner thinks, oh, good, finally, things are going well. We're not fighting, we're not, and all of a sudden they're like, you've been really quiet for a long time. Is everything okay? No, no, we're not okay. In fact, in my silence, I've been able to talk to myself and evaluate and realize that I have abused my trust in myself. I've done myself wrong for a number of years. And that's why a number of my clients, one of the very first things that I make them do when they come to me for the Triple P protocol is I tell them they're not allowed to be in an exclusive relationship for 1 year. And the reaction 99% of the time is classic because they're like, what? I came to you because I don't want to be alone, and now you're telling me I can't be with somebody for a year? I'm like, time out, hold on. I said you're not allowed to be in a relationship for a year, but you have to go out and be with people, do activities as much as possible, in fact, more than you probably have ever, for a year. Because you are going to invest 1 year into very heavy R&D, research and development. You are going to be researching human beings so that you can develop yourself. And that's where a number of them realized, looking back, if they had been in more than two relationships, so they've got a little contrast to look at, they probably ended up dating the same person in a different meat suit each time for whatever reasons. They couldn't figure out why it didn't work the first, second, or third, or whatever time. And it's not until they spend that year of research and development that they find out what they truly want. And they find out boundaries. And they find out what it's like to be the person with the most interest.
And that's really interesting that you're saying. Since I went to Chicago and I started changing my mindset, everything started changing.
Hmm.
So I say to myself, I'm worth it. I just
There.
it's
You
just-
are.
yeah. And I just say, so if the things are going to fall apart, it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes, to get better and better.
Yes. And it's not a mistake if you learn something.
Right.
It's a mistake if you put in all that effort and then didn't learn anything and went and did it the exact same way again. So you're on the right track, my friend. Which gives me 8 minis to try and fit in at least 2 topics. And this one's going to tie right in because the second topic is second verse. Who knows how the saying goes, or the song? Second verse, same as the first, which is especially on this topic, means you didn't learn. Second verse, same as the first because it's familiar. Second verse, same as the first because I think I've figured it out. Second verse, same as the first because it's comfortable. Second verse, same as the first because that's all I know. Why do I have so many problems? Second verse, same as the first, duh. We're in version 26.3. If you've been around Triple T, you know what I just said. We're in March of 2026. What are you doing differently than 2025 so second verse isn't same as the first? Or the 10th? Or the 20th? Or however long you've been alive? If you could actually look back and have your guardian angel lay out the cliff notes of who you've been over the last 10 years. What's the same? What's changed? Now, we all know what happened 6 years ago, which, yes, you can call it a change, but that's like touching an electric fence and realizing that you don't want to do that again. Or having somebody force you into eating a ghost pepper. You survived, but it sucked. But when you look back at 2025, could you say that 2025 was an amazing year? Oh my gosh, one of the best ever. I did this, I accomplished this, I learned this, I did all these things. If you can't do that, what are you going to change? And if you can look back at last year and go, that was a rocking year, had a great time, holy cow. Good. What else are you going to do this year to make 26 even better? We've got 2 full months in the books. If you read the Cliff Notes for January, February, has there been change? And if so, did you pick it? Or did it happen on autopilot? Because you can run on autopilot and still have things change. It's kind of like when they have those autonomous vehicles. Hopefully, those vehicles will be able to detect potholes. Animals running across the road without slamming your coffee into the dashboard. So are you running 26 on autopilot again? How many of you have gone to January 1st, 2027 and wrote down your little write-up about what 2026 was? And you don't have to be like, so I've got a breakdown for every week of 2026, and here's every step of the ladder that got me here. No, but I implore you, please, do not live 2025 over again. Because if you can do that, chances are it was a replay of 24. Which may have been a replay of 23. I'm giving all of us grace for 20 and 21. That was plot twist left turn on an epic level. But we've got that far enough behind us now that we should be able to decide whether or not we're happy with where we're at. I'm going to say it, we brought this up before, but it's been quite a while. Judge your year by pies, and I'm not talking apple and cherry and banana cream. Pies as in physically, intellectually, energetically, and spiritually. Are you physically where you want to be right now? Are you intellectually growing? Are you energetically satisfied with where you're at? Do you have the energetic spirit when you wake up to go, yeah, let's do this? Or are you waking up going, oh, here we go again? Now, I'm not saying that you will never have those days. Believe me, I know. I've had a few of those. Usually those days come after the day prior of cutting wood or building something, where I wake up and my body's going, hey, 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 hey. What was that all about? But that takes us back to physically. You can either wake up and feel the soreness in your body and go, oh, today's gonna suck. Or you can wake up and go, wow, I was able to do all that work yesterday, and I was still allowed to wake up today. My body's strong enough to do everything I accomplished yesterday. Lenora.
I want to piggyback off of that as as we head into hour 2.
Part 2.
Something that I had and I encourage people to do, and I actually do it every night. And as I'm laying in bed, I'm starting to relax, I travel from either the top to the bottom to my toes or my toes to my head. And I thank the parts of my body for doing what they do, for being a part of it. Like, I don't ever think about digestion, and it happens all day long. I never have to stop and say, hey, stomach, can you do this? Or hey, small intestine, can you do that? And it's going all day long. And I never stop and ask my hair to grow. I never stop and, ask my nails to grow or anything like that. And it does so much. And I think if we can witness it and observe it just for 3 minutes, and even if you put your hands, I'm a huge person on supporting people and saying, like, put your hands on your stomach. Thank your stomach for everything that it does all day long. And I know Louise Hay had one of these affirmations where she had said, thank your body, you've been working to the best of your ability. And if you think about how normal it is accepted, or how accepted it is in our culture to criticize ourselves, to beat ourselves up, to not like this, to not like that, and thinking about all that stress, we wouldn't say to our friend, but we say it in our head, all that stress that we put on our body of, I don't like this, or I don't want that, or I wish this was different, I wish that was different. To take the time to pause and to thank your body for all that it's doing and all that it's done, I think is so extraordinarily powerful. You don't have to love everything about yourself, but at least find a way to come to neutral and say, wow, you've done a lot for me. I didn't ask you to keep beating my heart or keep pumping the blood at all today. You did it all on your own. Thank you. And as you do that, notice how your breathing shifts, because you'll actually notice you'll start to take a really clean breath in or a really nice exhale out. And that is your nervous system releasing what it no longer needs, but also literally taking the time to breathe. And one thing that I had said this years ago to a colleague, and she and I were working in a nursing home at the time. And she came in the next day, and then for like a week straight, she could not even begin to tell me how excited she was to go to sleep every night. Because I had encouraged her. I said, just tune into your body and say, what color or colors might you need right now? Or what might you need right now? And even to say thank you. And she had told me how good she slept every single night for a week straight that she was telling me about this. So I really do think it's a beautiful thing to be able to pause and acknowledge what your body does for you on a routine basis. And there was something else that I wrote down, because apparently I'm just on the same thing. Okay, I'll pause here so that you can introduce hour number 2. But highly suggest.
For those of you that are watching for the very first time, and you're like, what is going on? Yes, this is where the magic happens. Hour number 2 is where we switch gears, and it's open mic, open platform. Anybody on the call can bring up a topic or ask a question, and I let the people on the call answer first. And after everybody's answered, if I still have something that I think I can add, that's when I toss in my 2 centavos. So, riding on that amazing part, I don't know if we're at the question or the topic, but I do want to throw something in there. The first time I heard this, it was taught to me that a really good CEO of a large corporation doesn't forget the janitor who keeps the place clean. and will go around and thank everybody for the work that they do so that he can be in his penthouse office doing what he do.
Yeah.
And I've met a few business owners like that did sadly by industry standards, they don't have to do that. They're far too busy. They are far too important to do that. That's why I love it when people like Elijah get a chance to show up and join us. Yay!
Hey.
Oh, brother.
So good to see you, Elijah.
I would imagine it is. No, I'm joking.
Yes, it is good to see me.
How's everyone doing? You all right?
Say good morning to you because it's UK time.
Yeah, what's it like 2 in the morning again? I forgot.
We are changing
one,
clocks.
just on one, right? The 107, something like that. Yeah.
We are changing clocks in the US, Elijah, on Sunday.
Excuse me. Oh,
We're changing clocks.
yeah. Ours is again it's probably like a
week later.
Couple of weeks or 2 weeks later, or a week later or something. So there's a brief time when we're closer together. You know.
Well, we're in hour number 2, so if you got a topic or a question you want to bring up for the group,
I mean, so on January 26th, I had a heart attack, and I had to spend a few nights in hospital, and I had 2 stents put in, and I've been in recovery, you know, for the past month or so. And I'm doing okay, you know, don't get it twisted. I'm not gonna die. I never was gonna die or anything like that.
Thank goodness.
But you know, it makes you think, you know, what's really important?
Yeah.
What's not important? What's actual value? How much time does one really have? And, you know, like, what if I did die? Like, what would I have been satisfied with, you know, and lots and lots and lots of incredibly deep questions that cause you to reorganize the way you think. And yeah, I was wondering, here's a question for you. If something as serious as that happened to you today, tomorrow, whatever, right? And that's not a suggestion. Please don't go and have something serious happen to you, right? But, you know, would you be satisfied? Like, if life ended today, would you be happy with you know, the innings that you put in? And if not, then what are some of those things that, you know, you probably ought to be doing for yourself or for the people around you that you haven't yet begun, or that you're too scared to? Or how's that for a question?
This is a great question.
Actually, it's perfect, Elijah, because I finished off hour number 1 with second verse, same as the first. Make sure your life isn't the same verse over and over. So this is perfect. Thank you. And Mark's got his hand up.
Yeah, not to compare, but I had a heart attack back in November, Elijah, and ended up in the hospital for a week. And you know, you do entertain questions of, you know, mortality and things like that. And you know, but I just seem to be me wherever I go. So I was uh, all the staff that came in, um, I was being me, and I was like, so what's going on in your life, and what's going, and basically I ended up doing therapy with most of the staff, up to and including the attending physician, who spent the last night I was in the hospital. She spent over an hour in my room getting her head on straight. um, so I, I'm me wherever I go. So, in the end, that week in the hospital, again, taught me I wasn't afraid to die, but I had, like I said, I had that insight that doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing, I'm me, and I will try to help others that want help, and, yeah, it was like, I wish I could have billed all the people that I probably helped during that week in the hospital. But but that's not why I do it, for the money. Like I said, I just enjoyed, and they really enjoyed. They were like, well, thank you. I got a lot of heartfelt thanks for some of the insight I was able to give people. So, and I thanked everybody that came in my room. Like TJ said, they are the superstars. The people that change the bedding, and the ones that
Bro, they work so hard and
yeah,
non-stop and 24
Yes.
hours, and like until you're there and you see it, you don't know what goes into it, right? Like
yeah,
they work
absolutely.
non-stop. Yeah. And they deal with they have the patience to deal with the patients, right? Like there are some people out there who are like, just in the next room in the same ward or further in a different part of the ward, or like there are some people with such difficulties, like made my, like, obviously cardiac stuff is pretty serious, but made what I was in there for look petty with some of the problems that some of these people had,
Yes.
right? Like they had serious difficulty, like walking, standing, balancing, like pooping, and the nurses just non-stop with the care and the patience and the smiles and the, you know, it's just tireless work. And I'm like, wow, like wow, you know.
Rock stars all.
New respect, yeah, new levels of respect for what they do. It's a hard job, bro.
Mhm. 100%. And even when my last little time in the hospital was supposed to be in and out. My wife was going to be able to wait for me, and I ended up in the hospital for 3 days. And the first time I had work done on my legs, and the first time they wanted me to get up out of bed. Hopefully, this ain't too graphic for some of the people out there, but I had blood running out of my leg like I was pouring it out of a cup. And I went, yeah, I think I'm going to lay back down, put my leg up. And the second time it happened twice. Second time I grabbed my phone and took a video of it. The nurse goes, "You're taking a video of it?" I said, "This is only supposed to happen once in a lifetime. I like videoing and photographing things that are once in a lifetime events. I don't ever want to have the opportunity to video something like this again." So I got the video. I'm going to lay back down again. Yes, ma'am.
Even then, we'll come back and haunt the others.
Promise.
Not allowed to, you're not excused before 90.
Anybody else got any ahas, epiphanies, comments they want to share with? One thing that popped into my head right away when you were talking about that, Elijah, Ken Guzzo has come up with a brilliant protocol. Basically, it's hypnotic near-death experience. And the change work he's getting out of those people, because you're absolutely right. A near-death experience is globally one of the most life-changing events people will go through. Even top CEOs of companies go through something like that and come out of it and they're like, you know what? I'm selling the business. I don't want to be doing hostile takeovers. I don't want to be doing all of this stuff. I'm going to become a farmer. Lenora.
Sorry, I was about to yawn. I was curious to know, what does it make you think differently going forward? Or even in the idea of if that happened, and when you mentioned, like, would you be happy with where you were now?
I would not have been happy with
Okay.
the innings that I've put in so far. There is a lot yet that I want to do.
Okay.
You know,
I think the world of you, and I think that you've done so
yeah,
many
I mean,
wonderful things.
again, don't misunderstand. I'm not like ragging on myself or saying that I'm worthless or having like a depression moment or something, right? But you just think of like all your dreams and all your ambitions and your
Yeah.
like the things that you wanted and maybe you have wanted since you were a kid, right?
Mhm.
And like yeah, like going to Cabo. Going to Cabo is one of those things. I haven't done it yet, and I've seen pictures of Cabo, and it is beautiful AF, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right? Like I should have at least once been to Cabo, right? Met pretty strangers and even ugly strangers, doesn't matter, right? Like whatever. So in that regard, not just like career wise or relationship wise or you know experiential wise in terms of like how much of this world have I seen and things like that. But you know, I'm quite a deep thinker, as
Yes.
and I all the thoughts I haven't had yet. It wasn't
Mm.
like it like I said, I wasn't gonna die. At no point, the thought didn't even cross my mind, right? But then you do start thinking about, some of those other things. Like, well, at some point, hopefully, we've agreed now it's going to be beyond 90, right? But at some point, we all gonna go,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
And everything is temporary.
Oh yeah.
And if you know that, right, then not only are you like some people become really fearful or upset or anxious that, oh, my relationship is temporary or my marriage is temporary or my life is temporary or my time with my kids is going to be temporary. No, your problem is temporary, your fear is temporary, your
Goodness.
hesitation is temporary. Like all of those other things on the flip side of the coin, they are also temporary. You can actually do it. You can actually have the life you want the way you want. Just realize that whatever that hesitation is or whatever that fear is or whatever that second guessing oneself is, that's all temporary too.
That was powerful.
Very much so.
You know, at the end of the day, and I think I've said this in here before as well. Like, we are all just visiting, right?
Mm.
And you know, make it a good visit.
Aw, I
Mark,
love that.
Yeah, again, that talking about you know, I was watching a podcast. This psychologist, he was saying that we're all just walking around with VR headsets on our head, and the you know, and being programmed by our experiences is kind of an interactive thing between consciousness and the headset that we're all wearing because we're perceiving reality. And as hypnotists, you know, you get to reweave reality for people. But you know, he was saying that like near-death experiences might be, for a moment, you take off the headset, so you get that blinding white light, you know, and then you pop it back on, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm back, you know. And the idea that we're all getting, you know, programmed by not only the headset, but also the interactiveness of our consciousness with this virtual reality that we're all walking around in. Because we can, you know, and I thought, oh, yeah. And if we can reprogram headset so that we get to, you know, a higher vibrational frequency, because that's all possible. Basically, people walk around, like I said, you know, don't realize how much, you know, they can, you know, and when you have to face your own mortality, you realize, you know, hey, if it's just a headset, well, you know, and I can get in there and, you know, reprogram it. You know, again, we have hints every once in a while, you know, like in the Matrix, where the young kid, the programmer, he says, "How come everything tastes like chicken?" Well, you know, the programmer didn't figure out what chicken tasted like, so he just made everything taste like chicken. And that's when you know you're wearing a VR headset, and it's you know, you get to question, you know, the programming. And I said, and then when we start to question it, then we get the insight into how we can change it and increase our vibration so that we have clarity and ease and confidence rather than sadness and depression and, you know, all that blech. But yeah, I thought, you know, again, what you were saying is like, yeah, we both got a glimpse of, you know, what the you know, like I said, that mortality, and I wasn't scared by it, you know. Again, you know, because, you know, if I have to take off if I had to take off that headset, well, I can always grab another one and put it, you know, and get another you know, that's just one turn or one chapter of, you know, because we're transcendent beings, and that's how I conceptualize it. So that we have different, you know, and in every, you know, lifetime is just another chapter. So, you know, but the fact that we can, you know, the fact that we can reprogram ourselves, we can reprogram the headset so that our view of reality can change, you know, I think that's a wonderful statement about what we're all capable of.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's amazing though, and I thought about this once before, but like it really hit me more this time around, and that is this realization that there's like 8 billion, which, like, first of all, wrap your head around that number, like 8 billion people in this world, and every single one of them have a life and an existence and a consciousness that is just as complex as my own. And that's in like the number of variables when you think about like two people interacting, it's like mind-boggling, right? Of just how many different perspectives there could be, and how many different ways of understanding or points of view there could be, and you know, with the different levels of experience and the different things people go through and the different advantages and disadvantages that they've had to live through, and it makes you think, not like when I say limited, I'm gonna say, I haven't used it, but in a moment I'm gonna say limited. Like, it makes you realize how limited your expression of yourself has been, and not limited in the sense that you're somehow holding back or but there's just always, so it's like, when you go on holiday, on vacation, right, and you have the time of your life, you see new places, maybe hearing new languages, and all sorts and you come home and you realize that the real world is so much bigger than the world that you were living in.
Yes.
It's like that, right? It's just that there's so many more points of view, there's so many more feelings, so many more perspectives, so many more ways of understanding things than the way I was, right? And the way, like, I did never consider myself to be stuck in a rut. No, but somehow that was also still a rut, because the level of expansiveness that actually exists is like insane, yeah.
Yes. That's why I got in with the travel business for a while, because I learned real quick. Travel is the one thing that you buy that makes you richer. And the first time I heard that play on words, I'm like, well, that's kind of cute. But after living in Europe and traveling to Mexico and getting to go to Australia and all of that stuff, total wanderlust. People ask me, well, where do you want to go to next? And I said, I really don't care. Give a drunk monkey a dart and a map of the world and let him toss it. And if it ends up in the water, that means I'm on a cruise. I'm willing to go. Now, there are a few places that I would probably let the monkey toss the dart a couple extra times. But other than that, because I would like to come back.
And even that is temporary.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
once the conflict or whatever situation is being handled, then we'll go to those
Yes.
places too, right? But you don't want to, step into the madness immediately necessarily.
No, I would rather not show up and immediately be a hostage. I would like to be able to enjoy.
Yeah, but we
my
would
time.
happily go. It's not that we don't want to go. It's the
Yes. I
temporary.
would love to see it when everybody's mellowed.
They might feed you well as a hostage. You'll get local.
But is it really a hostage situation, or is it just you can't leave because we enjoy your company? Speaking of which, I thought of this right away when Elijah said that you hadn't been to Cabo yet. What do you think about this, brother? I think we should all go to Cabo and put on a class.
I think
that would be sick.
100%. And we have a beautiful house we all can stay in for free.
But then we can write off all of the travel expenses as a business expense.
Absolutely. I write everything off. And Elijah, this is a personal invitation to you. If you decide you want to come to San Diego, Cabo is an hour and 45-minute flight, and tickets is about $150 round trip once you're here. We also have a place up in the wine country up in Northern California, and you are welcome. Mark, I like you too, so maybe you can come. Lenora, no, I'm sorry, you can't come. No, I'm just teasing.
Oh, she's gonna be. Good thing you can tell she's not at the camera right now.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. She'll be back in a second.
Well,
What?
thank you, Michael.
And
But
Duncan's in San Diego as well.
Yep. halfway there.
Yes. So come down. I had a rough day, and I'll tell you, I had to do a little mow time. I went out and mowed the yard before I was ready to come on here, and I'm just glad you guys are here. And Elijah, I'm especially glad you're here because I have missed you.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
Are you in San Diego?
I'm in Escondido,
Oh,
and I work in Carlsbad,
right.
and we have a place up in Occidental up by Bodega Bay.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow. Very cool.
And this is our new addition.
So cute.
What's the name?
She is Ramona.
Ramona.
Ramona. So my wife used to read books, Beezus and Ramona, and we have the other Chihuahua, which is Blaze, and she's nicknamed Beezus, and she's the older sister. And we got this one who's just a ball of fire. So this is Ramona.
Right on. All right, kids. Somebody got another topic or question they want to throw at the group? Really?
So I missed some of this, and I apologize. But I understand that, Elijah, you had a heart attack,
Yeah.
and you're doing things now to take care of it?
Yeah, I mean, I already was attempting to take care of, I have a type 2 diabetes as well, right? So
Okay.
that combined with some hypertension is what brought it on. So I was already taking steps, but it happened anyway. And
Yeah.
now I have, bro, the medications, man, like it really upsets me. It really does. But I have to take them. I have every colored Skittle under the rainbow, right? Like, but it's a tangible goal now. To I'm probably gonna have to take them for about a year at least minimum. But then one by one we can wean ourselves off them as we get healthier and healthier and healthier, and that's also a thing.
Yeah.
It's also
100%.
Like milestones, reduced dosage and reduced whatever, improved combinations, whatever, right? So, yeah,
Yes.
I have been so I don't know how much you guys know about cardiac stuff, right? There's a thing called
I do.
ejection fraction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so ejection fraction is the ratio of how much blood your heart keeps versus how much it pumps back out,
Yep.
right, to the rest of the body. And healthy ideal amount is 60%. And if you were as low as 55%, they would still say you're a very healthy person. Mine is down to like 38%. My heart is actually quite weak.
Woo!
And so it needs to be strengthened. And it's not just a cardio thing. It's not like, oh, you need to walk more, you need to exercise.
No.
There is some of it is, because the part of the world I'm from, South Asia and stuff like that, right? But a lot of it is to do with lifestyle and habits and bro, food. Listen, right? If ever you want, like I hate to be that guy who's telling you the shit that you already know, but bro, the food you eat makes all the difference. Like what you put in your body and how your body responds because of it is like it's crazy. And that's the thing. It's like but until like the chips are down and something terrible happens, unfortunately, like nobody really pays attention. Because you get caught up in your day to day and oh, he said this at work and she said that and this drama and that whatever and this Netflix show and that other thing and the neighbor did this and so was in my yard and like all that other stuff that in social fucking media, right? That we allow people to like occupy the bandwidth, and you could have taken 5-10 minutes to just prepare a meal that would have kept you healthier this whole time. And little things. But yeah, it's gonna be, it has been a journey, it's gonna be a journey. Listen, bro, I'm here for a long innings, right? And yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. It's kind of, in a weird way, like, as much as I don't want to go, I don't like the hospital. I was very triggered when I was younger, when I had to go to see my dad when he was in the hospital, and I
Yep.
don't like those places very much. I have a new appreciation for them, right, and the work and of the people who work there and stuff like that. But it's in a very strange and surreal way. I'm very grateful that it happened, because it's an experience
Yeah.
that I would not have had, and it's opened up many perspectives that I wouldn't have had otherwise, right?
And it's a huge wake-up
And
call. Exactly.
as much as it's been a rough ride, if you could say, right? Would I have rather gone there because of a car accident? Probably not. Would I
Yeah.
rather gone there because of some other, you know what I mean? Like, so, heart attack, and somewhat mild heart attack, thank God, right? Was, you know, not bad in the end. It was certainly eye-opening.
Huge.
Yeah, I promised someone I'd love very dearly, my missus. I said, I can't leave. You still need me. So everything I do now is geared to making sure, because I got to take care of her. So I can't leave. Even if I wanted to, I can't leave. I've got, I got to take care of her. So that's, like I said, I have a duty to perform. So, in a lot of ways, I've curtailed activities, but but as she's become more and more better, and cancer free, 6 months now, knock on wood, she's I still can't leave. So she did have a little again step forward this week. We took the chair out of the bathtub that she was using to during the showers, so put that in the other room. So more and more independence, more and more self-reliance. So
Yep.
but I still can't leave. So because she needs me, and that's
We
a
all
good
need
feeling.
you, Mark.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
do.
Yeah, man.
That's that's so nice to hear. Like I said, that and that's, I think, again, we're necessary when, in people's lives, and for and that's just all I wanted to say is, like I said, I have not only my internal, my motivation to, get better and better, and but like I said, a sense of purpose. There's nothing harder to defeat than a sense of purpose.
I got a couple of people that tell me I'm not supposed to leave for a while also. So if that's what it takes, I'll stick around.
You know what else is really heartwarming, right? Is the number of well wishes and warm messages that I got, right? And honestly, I like, call me guilty, right? Some of them from people who I had forgotten, right? People who I thought, we were just acquaintances, and I knew them for a little while, but they moved on a while ago, or I moved on a while ago, and but somehow, through the grapevine, people find it, and you get this message from someone you haven't spoken to in forever, and they're wishing you well, and you think like, whoa, I actually, I must have left some kind of impression on them, or I must have, you know, like, I live in their memory, even though I'd forgotten them, and I felt a little bit guilty about that, like, oh my God, I kind of forgot this person, and yet they're still wishing me well and still sending me this lovely message, and it was really heartwarming, you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
you kind of reminded of, I don't know, all the people's lives that you've touched so far, and probably more that, possibly some of them haven't heard through the grapevine, but I'm sure that if they did, they would also send well wishes and stuff like that as well. So like,
Yeah.
it's just really, it was very moving. It was very moving, because like there were some people you kind of expect, right? And there's some other people who, they are your really close people, and you don't want them to worry. So in a way, you kind of don't want to tell them because they're going to hound you, and they're like, "Oh, you okay? Can I bring you something?" Right? And that's beautiful, and it's not like, but I need space sometimes as well, right? So like there's a balance there somewhere.
Yeah, well,
But
if you would have let some of us know, you would have had a few more well-wishers and a few more things. But
well,
Exactly.
I'm not pointing fingers, but some of you do know and did know, and I'm very glad that you respected my privacy the way you did, and the rest of it, right? Um, there's at least two people here who did know already, and that's okay. You know, it's
well,
okay.
we're also professional secret keepers because of what
Right,
we do.
because you
So
have to be,
they have to be.
like confidentiality and all the rest of it, you know. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I was going to turn up here at some point and say something. By chance, I was sleeping early today, and I got up to go to the bathroom, and oh, it's 1 a.m. on a Tuesday on a Wednesday morning. Let's go say hello to TJ. It was like, yeah, it's just, I didn't really, it wasn't premeditated. Like, oh, I'm gonna go on, on the first week of March is when I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna boycott, or I'm gonna, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna, it wasn't anything like that. It was just by chance. I happened to be up at this hour, and I thought of it, and I remembered it, and oh, let's click and let's log on, let's go. I'm here.
Coming in like a lion, out like a lamb, and in like a lion.
Well, your absence has been noticed, so I'm
Thank you,
glad you're back.
thank you. You know,
And
I had my birthday like what, like a week and a half ago, 11 days ago,
Ah!
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was also lovely. I had
I wished you happy birthday.
you did, yeah. I appreciate that as well. You know,
Okay.
so it's just been a really interesting bit of a roller coaster. And interesting is the correct word. You know.
I still think we need to pick out a date and put on a training in Cabo.
Dude, let me know. Number one, we get discounts with Lunch Money Club.
Yeah.
You can't touch our rooms. My house is beautiful. It's 2 master suites, and I mean we can put all of us in it. 4 bathrooms. So,
Very generous.
Yes, very much so.
but Elijah, find Chief Airfare. Come over this way. We have room here in San Diego. Pop you down. I'll take time off work. We'll get you down to Cabo. We'll go have some sushi. Fresh
Oh, is this
sushi.
guy an angel or what? Like
So
seriously, dude. Like wow. Thank
I will
you.
make you drink a margarita though.
Maybe I'll consider it.
I make really good ones.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'll
can
make
have.
you really good tea. But we still have 16 minis to try and.
So here's what happened, and I'll bounce this off you, which is just kind of crazy. People right now in our world are just so caught up in the minutia and the crap. I went to Costco on a Tuesday afternoon today after a really rough day of work, and I love going to Costco, and I always look at people, and I love watching people, and I love everything, even the crowds about Costco. And I go in, the first guy, the greeter, didn't even look at me. I said, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he just looked past me. I'm like, "All right." And then I'm heading out. I had people push past me to get to I'm like, "Guys, chill. It's all right. I'm gonna let you go." but it was craziness. And
Mhm.
so again, I apologize for being late, but I'm like, okay, you need to ground yourself, find your spot, mow the lawn, and then you could be in a good place to come and communicate with you guys. And just your guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all.
So I'll bring up the question out of that. Who else has noticed that in this year you've learned how to ground yourself more often and realize we need to relax a little more because we look out and start observing humans in their natural environment going, wow, there are some people that are absolutely unhinged and don't realize that life is going to happen whether you're happy or sad or mad or, and you look at some of the stuff that I've got some clients that when they first came to me, the stuff that was ripping their day apart, I'm like, for real? You're allowing that to ruin the precious time that you have in this day.
Yep.
Will it matter in 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks? Will you even remember what it was if I were to write it down and wait 5 days and go, what were you angry about 5 days ago? And so I'll bring up the question or the topic. What helps you guys keep things in perspective so that you don't get caught up into that vortex? Anybody?
I kind of see everything as a mirror. You know, whatever it, like I've reached a point now for a little while where I've like I'm not saying this is the way it is, and I'm not saying that you have to believe me or that you have to change your beliefs to align with what I'm about to say. But what I believe and what I've come to realize is that everything that I see and everything that I interact with in this environment is but a reflection of me. Right? And so when something happens that tests me, I consider, well, what is it on the inside that caused this to test me on the outside? You know, what is it, like what's the belief or the underlying thing? Like why did this thing piss me off? Or why did it trigger me? Or what's the thing? Because honestly, if there was no mirror of that inside me, I would have been able to very easily ignore it. There's something about what happened out there that touched something in here that caused the triggering. That's my interpretation, my belief of it. And so it's actually amazing because every time something less than positive happens, it's your opportunity to heal and to resolve something or to create a resolution or to reintegrate another part and become a little bit more whole, a little bit more forgiving. And there's this word that keeps coming up over and over again, and I know I've been saying it, I know I haven't been here for a few months, but for the months that I was here before that, compassion, bro. Especially compassion for oneself, right? To go a little bit easier on yourself, to loosen the noose that you carry around your own neck, right? And just go a little bit easier on yourself and treat yourself like you would your favorite other person, right? And once you start just allowing yourself space to breathe and be okay with falling down and stumbling and making mistakes and things like everything becomes just that little bit easier, right? Everything becomes just, and it's so easy, and you'll be surprised how quickly you can build momentum out of nothing. You'll be so surprised, bro. Like like your body adapts quick, your mind adapts quick, like, and before you know it, you'll be on a roll towards something that you really want. But it starts with like a little bit of going easy on yourself, a little bit of forgiveness, and a little bit of understanding that whatever it is out here that's pissed me off or upset me or triggered me, right? There must be something, because otherwise I would be able to ignore it. If there was nothing inside me, right, that was an analog to that, I would have very easily been able to just keep walking like, just, it wouldn't have bothered me. The fact that it bothered me means there must be something that's not quite resolved. And so I've started seeing them more as clues. And, like there's a great book, right? And it's got nothing to do with this, but the title reminds me of this. And he says the obstacle is the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So a lot of times people think the obstacle is in your way. No. It's telling you what way you should go. Because all the things that you really want and really desire, they are just the other side of what's standing in front of what's blocking you, or what you're afraid, where you're the place you're afraid to go, or you don't want to. Maybe afraid is not the right word, but the place that for whatever reason you don't want to go there, that's where you should be going.
Afraid is absolutely the right word, because the fear, what fear stands for is, it's false evidence.
I mean, I wanted to make it more general. Some people, again, that in and of itself can also be a triggering thing. No, I'm not afraid. Of course, I'm not afraid. I just don't want to. So for whatever reason, the thing that you desire to stay away from, right? It's and as we know, and we've all known for a while, what you resist persists, right? It's going to eat away at you and that's your unconscious mind's way of saying, hey, this thing needs our attention. By the way, this thing needs our attention. It should be going this way. So a bit of a long-winded, but yeah, kind of an answer, I think.
Well, the thing is, just like TJ said, you were saying observing people in their natural environment. And I'm going to disagree, because we are energy, and this is not our natural environment. We all have lessons to learn, and the lessons are a reflection of what we need. And that's where you had a little wake up call. Boom. Hey, okay, I need to get a hold of this and this so I can keep learning the lessons that I signed up to learn. And what sucks is with our social media, our electronic devices, all our things to take away our attention from the internal voice. We're looking for exterior motivation when we need to look inside. You know what I'm saying?
Mark.
Yeah, what came to my mind is we can go into the chaos and create a sense of harmony. I remember one time I was traveling from the north of Boston during rush hour, and people are zipping in and out, and and cut. Like, I'm not going to play this. Okay, I'm not playing this game where you're trying to you're bumper to bumper, and you're trying to get home 5 minutes faster than you would have if you just relaxed. So I slowed down. I created space in front of me, and if somebody zipped into that space, I said, hey, good going, bub. Good going, bro. And I slowed down a little more, and I slowed down, and I was just, like, I'm just being me, and just being very calm and very confident, just keeping a large space in front of me. And I'm going through the tunnel, and so again, by the time I had emerged, everybody was doing the same thing. They were all slowing down and creating space for each other. And all of a sudden, it was almost like I generated a field of harmony and calmness, and it spread driver to driver to driver to driver. So that by the time we emerged from the tunnel, everybody was making space in front of them. so we can actually be a model for, calmness and serenity, and, peacefulness. And, we create that bubble around us, and we include, we can expand it and include others, and they'll be drawn to that, to that calmness. So when I see chaos, I just try to stay inside my bubble and generate that field, and then just let it expand to others. So, and they seem to,
100%.
yeah, they just seem to, like I said, and it was an interesting, phenomenon that, like I said, by the time we emerged from the tunnel, everybody was doing the same thing I was doing.
Yep.
Well, that reminded me of a quote that I've got right over there that says, positive energy is more powerful. Negative energy is more plentiful. So they balance each other out. And when you were inside of that, especially if you were in a tunnel, and you've got all that positive energy, where's it going to go? It's more powerful. You're going to start affecting. And I love looking at that because I know what I've witnessed out there. And I do my best to make sure that I am a source of positive energy.
Love that. So on a sidetrack, I watched Freddie Prinze Jr. today talk about George Lucas's vision of the Force. And the Force is always balanced, positive and negative. And you had Yoda and Palpatine. And Palpatine was actually smarter than Yoda because Yoda didn't see Palpatine was the bad guy, right? And so he understood the theory of balance, and instead of killing Darth Vader, he converted him and amplified the dark side. So now the dark side was double strong compared to the light side. And so Padme, Anakin's girlfriend / wife, had twins to help balance out the dark side of the Force, so it's all balanced. Is that crazy or what?
I love going down rabbit holes like this when you start realizing that it is possible to be a change in such subtle ways. When Wayne Dyer talked about the concept of complimenting people and doing good deeds, and who gets the benefit from it? Obviously, the person you did the good deed for or gave the compliment to, but you also get it, and anybody that witnessed the act.
Yeah, and the next person they interact with.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't know how far the ripple goes. That's the thing. You don't know how far the ripple goes.
Yes. And when you get good at being that ripple starter, you realize it's not that hard. It's actually quite easy, and it's quite enjoyable. Especially when you get the ironic compliment of, "Are you always in a good mood?"
You know, my standard answer to that is you realize it's a choice, right?
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Well, what
It's
an
my present.
ironic compliment. Like, yeah, why aren't you?
It's my present. I'll open it any way I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Are you high? Yeah, on life.
That's right, baby.
Right? And I got to close this out with something that my friend Chase Hughes brought up on one of his videos, where he said, get so good at forgiving yourself that it's almost hilarious. That thing that you did back then, forgive yourself. That thing that happened, let it go to the point where it's almost hilarious. Because it's not worth dragging around in the present anyway. Be happy. Enjoy your life to the point that people think you're crazy. If they're going to think I'm crazy for anything, it might as well be because I'm having a great time when they can't figure out how to. I'll be in a, if they want to try and figure it out, that's a good start.
Yep. I agree. I live that.
But unfortunately, that was a good start, and now I have to bring a good ending to Triple T number 218. Blows my mind. That's why I have to keep looking at those numbers. And if I couldn't have done it without you guys, without the Triple T tribe showing up every week, offering up your precious commodity of time. Again, like I always say, I don't know how to replicate it and give it back to you. You'll be the second one to know when I figure it out. But until then, please know that my vocabulary is too small to tell you how much you mean to me.
Let's plan Cabo.
Let's do a training in Cabo. That sounds like a great idea. Love you all. Hope to see you back here in 7 glorious days. Until then, go out and live life so amazingly well that people just think you're crazy happy. Love you guys. Oh, and I almost forgot. Love you, Mom. See you guys.
Bye, guys. Have a great one. Stay healthy.